We're still not okay, all right. Good evening, and welcome to the 2020 Speedway State of the Town. My name is Jacob Blaisdell. I am the outgoing town manager, incoming clerk treasurer, and I'm told that if I'm not careful, I'll soon be the chief dog catcher. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you to Speedway Methodist for hosting us this evening. Would also like to thank the Speedway Lions Club for providing refreshments for us this evening down at the table in the back. I'd also like to thank and recognize some of our elected officials joining us this evening. Do we have, let's see, State Representative Carly Macer here? Okay, I'll recognize our town councilors. We have David Lindsay, Eileen Fisher, Vince Noblet, and Gary Rakes are here. Did any of the city county councilors join us? Okay, sorry, we have a good crowd here. I'd also take a minute to recognize town employees and volunteers serving on boards and commissions that are with us this evening. If you're an employee or serving on a board or commission, if you could please stand to be recognized. That's ready, huh? Yes. Great. We have wonderful speakers and some exciting announcements lined up this evening. But before we begin, we'll start with the flag ceremony conducted by our Police and Fire Honor Guard, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Devin Alderman, President of Speedway Demolay.
Join me in saluting and pledging allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have the national anthem sung by Maggie Goldson.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We will now have our invocation led by Reverend Alex Stone, the pastor here at Speedway United Methodist.
Will you join me in a moment of prayer? Loving God, thank you for every seat that has been filled here today. For each mind and heart that fills the presence of this room, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hints, and daily instructions. We have talents, ability, and time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for good. Your righteousness transcends all our efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that puffs us up and the pride that threatens to unqualify us. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this meeting this evening, all those present, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterward. Ready us to make every moment count. In Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated.
All right, our first speaker this evening is Melissa Sauer. Melissa is the Executive Director of Corporate Affairs at Allison Transmission. Melissa oversees Allison's community and philanthropic pursuits, public relations, internal and external communications, and government interest and relationships. Melissa also happens to be a graduate of Speedway High School. Please welcome Melissa.
Well, good evening. Sorry. Well, thank you for having me here this evening to give you a quick update on the construction activities at Allison Transmission. I've been with the company 39 years now, and the growth that we're seeing right now is just unprecedented. Ever since James Allison founded our company in 1915, Allison's been a fixture in Speedway, and we're continuing to expand our footprint here in different ways. As we continue our legacy of innovation, we find ourselves with more opportunities to drive technological advancements and growth than any other time in our history. We have invested several $100 million over the last few years on our business to enhance it. This includes the construction of the Vehicle Environmental Test Facility, or the VET, which is under construction, and the Innovation Center, which is under construction on 10th Street. Both of these projects are tracking to schedule right now. The VET is being built on the south side of our campus, so behind our building. The first heavy-duty truck will begin testing in the VET next month, and the entire building will be operational in the middle of the summer. So that means that we have built that within a year. The facility will include 2 environmental chambers capable of simulating extreme temperatures from negative 54 degrees Fahrenheit to plus 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It will also simulate altitude, grade, emissions, and other on-road conditions. Having the capabilities to conduct this testing on site will save our company time and money. We will not need to travel to various climates to test vehicles in extreme temperatures and conditions, so we can bring products to market quicker. The VET will also support testing of a wide range of propulsion systems. And what I mean by that is conventional powertrains, alternative fuels, electric hybrids, and fully electric vehicles. The VET is one of 2 facilities that are commercially available in North America, and it's the only one in the Midwest. When Allison isn't conducting testing itself, third parties or our business partners will be able to utilize the facility for their own testing in a very secure, confidential manner. On the west side of our campus along 10th Street, construction continues on our new Innovation Center. Steel fabrication and installation are currently taking place, so you can start seeing the bones of it. Construction of the building's envelope will finish at the end of the second quarter. The interior build-out, the parking lot, landscaping, and fencing should all be complete by the end of the fourth quarter. We do plan on beginning to occupy the building the first quarter of 2021. The Innovation Center will allow us to design new products quicker. It will feature expanded and unique virtual and complete physical system simulations. We can support customers, partners, and supplier relationships with our development and validation capabilities. Working under one roof, engineers will have better collaboration opportunities on future technology and product initiatives. Investment in the Innovation Center supports Allison's commitment to developing advancements for alternative fuels in electric vehicles. As we plan for the future, Allison is committed to remain a global leader in commercial propulsion solutions. By developing innovative solutions, we can secure and enhance our ability to deliver compelling value propositions to our customers, and thus being able to remain in the great community of Speedway in the years to come. Thank you.
Our next speaker this evening doesn't really need an introduction, at least not in this town. But in addition to being the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he is a strong and frequent proponent and advocate for the Town of Speedway. Please help me welcome Doug Bowles.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Melissa, for that update. It's a pleasure, as you all know, to live and work in a community where we have such great partners like Allison, and you think about the history and the tradition, not only of the Speedway, but really of what James Allison did in the company there, and to see you guys just continue to transform to be global leaders in a world that changes every day. It's pretty cool to see what you guys have going, and we look forward to continuing to partner with you. It's a great way to anchor the town, so thank you so much for all that you guys do. You know, we're 110 days away from the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500, and really since November 4th, it's felt like we were 20 days away from the Indianapolis 500. As you all know, the announcement on November 4th that Roger Penske was going to purchase the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we closed on January 6th. Things got a little bit crazier beginning January 6th, but it is literally like the month of May already at the Speedway. If you've walked around town, you may have seen Roger walking around town. He is completely engaged. In fact, he was supposed to come in Thursday this week. I got a call about an hour ago from Roger, and he said, I'm going to do what I did last week. Can we meet about 6 o'clock Wednesday night for dinner? And I said, absolutely no problem. Dinner for Roger, we learned this last week when he came in. He called about 4 o'clock on Wednesday and said, hey, I'm gonna come in tonight. Can you have dinner? And Mark unfortunately couldn't, so I could, and John Lewis, who many of you may have known from his IndyCar days, is now back with us at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So John and I said, yeah, we'll do it. Roger said, I'll text you when I get to the Speedway. I'll meet you out back of admin. So he's got his own clicker and the whole 9 yards, so he's figured out how to get in and uses what, gets in the building, but he wanted to meet us out back. So we get a text from him, and we get in the car, and he says, let's drive around the facility. So we left admin at 6:38. We rolled back into admin at 9:22 after over that course of almost 3 hours doing 24 total miles, most of which were we actually drove out to the intersection down Crawfordsville Road as he was thinking about Crawfordsville Road, but the bulk of it was in the infield, almost getting stuck at the dirt track. 9:22, we roll back into admin. He looks at John and I says, that was a great dinner. We hadn't eaten. So, and I said to Roger, I said, I'd rather do that for 2 hours than go sit down at dinner and talk about it. Let's just get out here and start thinking about the things that we can do for the Speedway. I say that to tell you that Roger Penske is so excited to be part of this community and so excited to be part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in a way that he never has been before. You think about his normal experience. Drive in Tunnel 2, park at the motorhome lot, walk from the motorhome to the garage, go from the garage to pit lane, occasionally maybe go up to the gas alley suite to check in on some customers, and 18 times go to Victory Lane. Other than that he doesn't really know the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and so for him to see the excitement as he walks around and drives around and tells us things that he wants to do to really improve the Speedway, his focus from November 5th, really, when we started out at Charlie Brown's, we invited Jacob. We spent time at Charlie Brown's on November 5th. From that point on, his focus really has been, what can I do for the customer's experience? So over the last 15 years, we've polled our customers at the end of our events and get their comments on a whole variety of things. If you've taken that survey, you know it can take 30 minutes to take the survey. It's amazing how many of our customers actually fill it out. Well, Roger has spent the last couple of months really understanding what are customer frustrations. So we're really focusing on customer frustrations and things that we can fix leading into the 104th running of the Indianapolis 500. So next Friday, February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, but it's also our 100-day out party. So we're going to have our 100-day out party, which is a great reason to bring folks out for Valentine's Day. It was a little bit of a tough sell at my house, but I think Beth is going to be okay with it. Roger is going to, earlier that day, he's going to talk a lot about the things that we have going. So I'm not going to steal his thunder. But if you've been in and around the Speedway, if you've been around Georgetown Road, you see some of the things that are already happening, and that really is because Roger is determined to make a difference leading into the 104th Indianapolis 500. It's been a blast to work with him. I'll back up to two other Roger things because it's just fascinating to learn from this guy that we've all heard about, the captain, making everything Penske perfect. So on November 2nd, Saturday, I am at Texas Motor Speedway for a NASCAR race supporting Eddie Gossage, who has an IndyCar race as well, getting ready to leave Texas Motor Speedway to get on a plane to go to Las Vegas for the Road Racing Industry Council, which, believe it or not, is on a Sunday. And then my wife was going to fly and meet me out there because our anniversary was on Monday, November 4th. It's about 3 o'clock. My phone rings. It's the office. I answer. The voice on the other end of the phone says, I need you home and in the office by 7 a.m. Monday morning. So we all knew something was going on, but we didn't really know what was going on or who it was going on with. So my first inclination is, look, if you're going to fire me on the phone because my anniversary is on Monday. I can just stay out here and hang out with my wife. And the answer was, nope, you know what this is. We need you home. And by the way, you can't tell your wife why you're coming home. So I called Beth. I said, hey, I'm going to stay over another night here in Texas to get Eddie kicked off on the Cup race. And I need you to cancel your flight because then I'm going to come home, which immediately sends up red flags in my wife's. So I had to spend 36 hours trying to dodge the question of, are you losing your job? What's going on? Until we all heard at about 8 o'clock on Monday morning that Roger Penske was going to purchase the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A couple weeks later, so Roger's been in somewhere between 2 and 6 days a week since that announcement. And about the second trip in, it was a Friday night, and he was planning on leaving about 3 o'clock. He had a meeting at the airport at 3. He was going to leave from there. And that night, we were hosting Carter, our youngest, was in the musical. He was hosting his cast party at the house. And so I told Beth, I said, no problem, I'll be home, everything will be fine. About 2:30 that afternoon, Roger says, you know what, I'm going to go out and have this meeting. And then I think I'm going to come back. I'll be back here about 4:30. We can work till 9 or 10. So I called my wife, say, hey, guess what? I'm not coming home. So we end up working with Roger till about 9:30 that night, and he says, hey, can you have breakfast tomorrow morning? Meet me at the hotel at 6:30. So I said, fine. I go home and have to deal with Beth, a little upset that I didn't make it home for Carter's cast party, which frankly I was glad to have missed. And but I tell her I can't be late tomorrow morning. It's Roger Penske. I got to be on time. So I show up at 6:10. I'm 20 minutes early. I walk in the front door of the Conrad where he was staying, and he's sitting in a chair looking out the door, and the first thing out of his mouth is, glad you could make it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm 20 minutes early, but I'm late. So I have learned that Roger Penske operates on sort of the 30-minute rule, not you can be, not like in college, right? If you were 10 minutes late, the professor was 10 minutes late, you could leave. In Roger's world, if it's a 6 o'clock meeting, it really means 5:30. So we figured that out. But it's really been a blast to work with him. I think the town's going to enjoy. You guys are going to enjoy getting a chance to meet him. I was on a conference call yesterday with Mark Miles and Casey Lane, our Chief Revenue Officer in Indianapolis. Roger had some folks in Detroit with him and asked us to be on the call. And he wanted to be on the call because he was telling these folks, giving them some flavor about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But in the conversation, he talked about what a jewel the Town of Speedway is and how it had transformed itself in his time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to be one of those iconic places, and how when neighbors and communities get together and corporations get together, they can make a huge difference and make a huge change. And was using Main Street as an example of what other neighborhoods and what other communities could do, and wanted us on the phone as he was talking to some folks from Boston, using Speedway as an example. And he knew enough high level that he wanted to talk about it, but he wanted Mark and Casey and I on the line to really give him more specifics. So you already have an advocate in Roger Penske, and I think, as I said, you're going to see him around an awful lot more, and he's committed to working with the town as we start thinking about how can the Indianapolis Motor Speedway help the town, and how together can we continue to make this a community that we're all proud to be part of, all proud to live in, all proud to work in. One of my favorite things to do is come down on Main Street with Carter, and it's pretty fun to come down on a weekend and Carter starts talking about, wow, the Main Street looks good, this is great for the town, and Carter and Dad and I have a tradition. We go to Charlie Brown's every Christmas Eve together, and it's just a blast to be part of this community. You guys should be very, very proud. Last thing, Xfinity race. You guys probably saw. The Brickyard is really important to us, as I know it is to you guys. And since 2008, really, the Brickyard has struggled. You can rewind that back really to 2001. The Brickyard, for its first 6 or 7 years, sold out. And just like the Indianapolis 500, people just renewed their tickets. So for 2001, all the tickets had been renewed. In 2001, at February, Dale Earnhardt Sr. is killed. So in renewals after the 2001 race, we started to see the first decline in the Brickyard in terms of tickets. So really since 2001, we've been on this decline. It was accelerated in 2008 when we had the tire debacle. We've done everything we can working with NASCAR to continue to try and make it better. When you compare the on-track product to the Indy 500 product, especially over the last several years, it's been night and day. I would tell you that the folks at NASCAR want to fix it. They're committed to the Town of Speedway. They're committed to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we approached him about putting the Xfinity cars on the road course. We had a test, believe it or not, in January. You may have heard it, as Matt DiBenedetto tested out there. So we did announce, and today we actually announced that it's the Pennzoil 150 Xfinity race on Saturday at the Brickyard. We're going to do a lot of things around 4th of July weekend, fireworks, camping, we're going to food festival, a lot of things that we'll begin talking about between now and then. But we're going to do everything we can to build that race. Will it ever be the size of the Indianapolis 500 again? Probably not. But can we make it a very successful event? Yes. And if people give you a hard time about the Brickyard, remind them, we have more people in the venue for the Brickyard 400 than any NFL game in the city of Indianapolis. It is still over 70,000 people that show up for that event. So it is still a huge event. It just looks empty when you have 235,000 permanent seats and you spread them out all over the place. So we get it. We're committed to fixing it. We're committed to making it better. I'm just really looking forward to continuing to work with the town. I couldn't be prouder to represent the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Holman George family has done so much for our state. Every time you see one of them around, please thank them because they're amazing people. I know it was a tough thing for them. But there couldn't be a better family to purchase the Indianapolis Motor Speedway than the Penske family, and I'll leave you with this. When the announcement was made, it's a pretty exciting announcement, and you immediately think, well, Roger Penske isn't 20 years old. He certainly acts 20. He doesn't sleep. He goes a million miles an hour. He's an unbelievably brilliant and energetic man. But the most encouraging thing out of that whole thing is when you're around Roger, he talks about this was not a Roger Penske decision. This was a Penske family decision, and we hope that 74 years from now, people look back at the Penske family's time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway just like they have at the Holman George family's time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So that family is committed to making a difference, and I think that's great for us to have them involved in our community. Thanks for everything you guys do. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to seeing you guys around over the next 110 days leading into the 104th running of the 500. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doug. I don't know how many Roger Penske stories he has, but we'll next hear from our school superintendent, Dr. Kyle Trebly. Kyle has been a very regular attendee here at States of the Town, but he is now here to address us as a superintendent to provide an update on our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Mr. Disney, remind me next year to move up in the agenda so I don't have to follow that. Appreciate that. Wow. Penske, trebly terrific. I like that. I have a lot of thoughts right now. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the school Town of Speedway, thank you for providing this opportunity for me to share some information with our school corporation. Speedway Schools continue to lead Marion County with both the highest academic achievement scores and the highest growth scores at all grade levels in all assessed subjects. Thank you. This is no surprise, and frankly, it is what we've grown to expect with our consistent results for the last many years. The foundation of our students' level of high academic achievement is beyond exceptional. Our schools remain top of the state as our corporation remains an A-school corporation. The junior high recently was named a 4-star school along with their A status from the state. Currently, the Speedway High School is setting the bar at elite levels for the entire state as they were just named a 4-star school, an AP TIP Affiliate School of the Year, annual AP District Honor Roll 3 years in a row, AP Achievement Recognition from the Department of Education, America's most challenging high school, Indiana's most challenging public school, Niche Best High School, and U.S. News, America's best high school. Those are your schools. It doesn't end because Speedway High School, after last year's state assessments, was ranked 4th in the state on their state assessments. Speedway High School, 4th in the state. We consistently are in conversations with schools around the state, such as Carmel, West Lafayette, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Plainfield, for that high academic achievement. These numerous accolades are impossible, though, without the dedication from our students, from the support of our parents, leadership, from our administration, and the hard work from the teachers. Speedway, though, is not a one-horse pony show, and many great people before me have paved the way to the community, for this community to shine. One of my favorite questions I ask students when they come back from break, and I used to be the principal also, so I still know a few of the students, was, "Are you glad to be back?" And students in high school look at me in the eye and they say, "Yes, I'm glad to be back. I love Speedway." And folks, that doesn't happen in most communities, but it does here in Speedway. And we say all the time, once a spark plug, always a spark plug. And the longer that I'm a part of this community, the more I see this reality happening every day. We are people first. We continue to talk about finances. Financially, we are viable and we're solvent. We continue to collect the least in property taxes, and we believe that we should use most of that money, the taxpayers' money, in the classrooms that will directly affect student achievement. Great teachers and small class sizes are a common theme to our success for all Speedway schools. As people continue to ask, how do we do it? Well, it's simple and it's boring. We strive to safeguard our teachers and our principals from outside noise and anything that does not deal with reading, writing, and arithmetic. The school's core foundation is to teach students to read, write, and do math, period. That is why we put more money inside of our classrooms for our students and teachers rather than facilities, parking lots, and outside decor. This is only one sample of strategic thinking within a master plan of good financial stewards for our taxpayers. Speedway schools, like in the past, have low school property taxes in Marion County. The tax rate for this coming year is .8421, 84 cents, which is one of the lowest among our neighbors. For example, Beech Grove is $2.74. Wayne Township, that school, $1.88. IPS, $1.50. And just a reminder, Speedway Schools is at 84 cents. This happens because of the teamwork with our local government, Town Council, School Board, Police, Fire, Park and Rec, Street Departments, and most importantly, the people of Speedway. The school corporation can't say thank you enough to all these groups. I am pleased to inform you and the public that we will be adding on to Newbie Elementary these new classrooms, bathrooms, security doors, and updated mechanic rooms will serve these kids in Newbie area for the years to come. But as our enrollment continues to climb across the district, we must continue to forward think and plan accordingly. In conclusion, we exceed expectations in academics. We have one of the lowest tax rate in Marion County and surrounding counties, and we believe in our neighborhood schools with small class sizes and great teachers. Thank you for your time, and go Spark Plugs.
Thank you, Dr. Trebley, for the update and the wonderful leadership that you're providing at schools. As is tradition, we will now hear from our counselors. We'll first hear from the prior year's council president, Eileen Fisher, providing a recap on 2019, and that will be followed by a look ahead at 2020 by our current and new council president, David Lindsay. Eileen Fisher.
Thank you, Jacob. Good evening, and thank you for coming out this evening to hear the 2019 State of your Town, Town of Speedway. In the past, the State of the Town has been held in different days, different times of the week, to be able to attract as many citizens as possible. We also tried to hold this event in different community venues throughout the town, and tonight I would like to thank Speedway Methodist Church for allowing us to hold it in their facilities. I'd also like to thank Dr. Trivia for the report that we heard from the Speedway Schools and all of the excellent work being done by our students there. A big thank you to Melissa Sowers for her report on the new Innovation Center Allison Transmission is building in Speedway, and to Doug Bowles in sharing a little bit about the IMS and the work that's going on there. These are two companies that are main pillars of our community, so thank you for everything you've done. In 2019 was a busy year for our Speedway Police Department. We began a new application cycle for police officers in January, which led to being able to welcome a new officer, Nicholas May, in July. We also had the pleasure to welcome a new K-9 officer, Ruck, the Speedway Police Departments, following the retirement of Tom. Ruck has already shown to be a great asset with the searches and apprehension. We are saddened, though, by the recent loss of Tom, both as the valuable part of the team and family members for our K-9 officers, Matt Trivia and his family. The Speedway Police Department also provided safety and security for both major and special events in our town, from the icon Indianapolis 500 with hundreds and thousands of visitors and fans, to small 5K events on Main Street, to concerts in the park. The department has actively participated in all events of all scopes in the town to secure the safety, not only for those who live here, but for those who visit as well. Last year, the department maintained its priority of the community policing by providing public safety in partnership with residents of Speedway. Our volunteers in policing assist the town with 26 events in 2019, interacting with public and helping the police department. The department also has been preparing for the first of 4-year assessment process for CALIA. This program reflects the gold standard benchmarks for excellence in public safety and compliance. During their preliminary assessment in April, Speedway Police Department has found to be in compliance with no major or minor issues to resolve. We are proud that our police department holds itself in the highest levels of national and recognition professional standards every day. No different than any other year, 2019, our Speedway Police Department continues to have dedicated and professional men and women who work hard to keep Speedway safe and secure. We thank you for your service. The same dedication is seen in our fire department. With over 3,540 total runs in 2019, Speedway Fire Department continues to provide world-class service to our town. The Speedway Fire Department was happy to partner with the Parks Department this year to give students a chance to be a firefighter for a day. For the first time, this summer camp provided students with the opportunity to see what it's really like to be a firefighter, from building inspections to mock fire drills to manning the water hose. The program was a great success and will become part of our Parks annual programming. Speedway Fire Department was happy to be able to equip both of our stations this year with the diesel and gas exhaust removal system. This was done through a grant, $85,000 American Fire grant. This type of system will help tremendously with the department's cancer fighting innovations and to keep our firefighters safe and healthy. We were also excited to be able to purchase 2 new thermal imaging cameras with the help of Speedway Lions Club and Allison Transmission. These cameras are equipped with cutting-edge technology that will help our firefighters remain safe and effective during search and rescue. The fire department has gone above and beyond to help our community to stay safe, and we thank them for their service. We are also appreciative of the help of our code enforcement officers. We have a couple of unique cases this year where our code enforcements were provided to be valuable to our team. Last year, we had an incident where a trucker pulled down utilities lines and that spilled oil into our system sewer drain. With quick response from code enforcement and our other departments, along with Marion County Health Department, the incident was contained and did not get into our waterways, but also was able to be recovered by code enforcement for this accident, recovering approximately $23,000 of cost. Code enforcement also assists the clerk treasurer and town hall staff with the abandoned properties or properties that have gone into foreclosure. These sites become a nuisance for neighbors. Our code enforcement officers have been able to locate owners, recovering outstanding bills, payments, returning properties to compliance, and hold accountable the parties responsible. With these efforts between code enforcement and town hall, the past several years, thousands of dollars have been collected to the outstanding utilities owed to our town during that process. The Speedway code enforcement has also helped throughout race time, during residential renovations, corporate development, and much, much more. We have a very hardworking team in our Speedway Water Department, making sure that we always have access to safe drinking water. This year, the Water Department hired 2 new licensed operators for the waterworks and are working to continue training and certification with the current staff members. This year, our Speedway Water Department completed a full upgrade in the system, helping them gathering and analyze real-time data while monitoring and controlling the water treatment plant. You also may have seen the water crew throughout several areas of town through the last year doing maintenance. Infrastructure upgrades were made with the distribution system in the old Nelson addition in order to reduce the impact of residents during repairs. These upgrades will control the flow much better and allow our crew to isolate an area for maintenance instead of having to shut down an entire neighborhood of water while under repair. The water department was also able to start replacing outdated fire hydrants throughout town. About 10 fire hydrants have been replaced so far. The upgrade allows for firefighters easier access during an emergency, reducing the risk of safety issues during a process. Our wastewater department has had an eventful year, even making some local news during the oil dumping situation we had in September. This incident caused several thousands of dollars and many hours of manpower to maintain and treat. The impact lasted for months, to the point that just as of today, we are really just getting back to the local normal running of the plant. Thanks to the fast action of our department heads, which included putting monitors on some manholes, making our police department aware of what to watch for, and our communication director reaching out to social media, radio, and news reports that were able to put a stop to this and to prevent it from occurring again. Most importantly, although this event caused the plant numerous challenges, the wastewater department was able to maintain regulatory compliance without an ordeal due to the hard work and dedication of the treatment plant staff. Meanwhile, the plant has also been addressing new permit limits being discharged into the Eagle Creek, developing and approving a plan to address new treatment protocol before the deadline of this year. This, along with other treatment process improvements, continuing to keep our efforts in compliance and safe for our community. Street Department was awarded this community crossing grant in 2019. This grant was launched in 2016. A community crossing marching grant program provides funding to cities, towns, and countries across Indiana to make improvements to local roads and bridges. Community Crossing is a partnership between INDOT and Hoosier communities, both urban and rural, to invest the infrastructure projects with economic development, create jobs, and strengthen local transportation networks. Our award not only represented a significant investment in our town's infrastructure, but confidence in our asset management plan, as we were investing the Town of Speedway's road funding dollars wisely and communicating that message to the state efficiently. The grant awarded process is competitive, with many applications not receiving funding or only partial funding. We, the Town of Speedway, were awarded full funding. Much praise to our Public Works Department for that full funding was Wendell Walters and our Street Commissioner Rob Wetnight for their program management and leadership in the involvement of our street department to help maintain the crucial infrastructure of our community. Also credit to the town clerk and town council for effective budget and confidence in our town staff to put us in a position to not only apply and win funding for this, but also in the future. Our friends at the library have been busy this past year as well. They have rolled out a new policy called No Books Fine for Children, which removes overdue fines for children's books. Their hope is to encourage children and their parents who pay the fines to read more with this new policy. They also started 2 new programs this year that have become very popular. Both are cookies and canvas events, one geared towards children, one for adults. And you can find more information about these events on their website or Facebook page. Our Parks and Recs Department was excited this year to introduce a couple new programs and events for our community, such as the Winter Wonder Prince and Princess Ball, Firefighter for the Day, Shakespeare in the Parks, and West Indy Art and Music Festival. Many residents and guests from out of town enjoyed these events, with the biggest crowd of over 1,000 people attending the Arts and Music Festival in Meadowood Park this past fall. We also had the biggest year yet for our summer camp program. In partnership with Speedway Schools, we employed 19 adult coaches and 34 student coaches to help a record number of 402 registered in 15 different camp opportunities. In addition, we had 120 students learn to swim and to improve their swimming abilities through a free swim lesson. A summer tradition in Speedway Parks, the summer concert series, entertaining the community for the last 8 years in a row. We hosted between 250 to 300 attendants in the 6 different concerts throughout the summer. Our Parks Department was also able to do some great projects in the parks to help with the helps of volunteers and generous donators. A butterfly garden, including a bench, was completed in Leonard Park. Trees, plants, and mulching were done in both Meadowood and Leonard by volunteers from the community, along with the bathrooms and shelters getting a new coat of paint. And our local Boy Scouts painted the benches and tables in Meadowood Park. So we truly appreciate all the help from our communities. We also had a group come together to donate their time and money to install a historical marker in Meadowood Park, commencing the Indiana history of basketball and the importance of our park. Though we have a small parks department, they accomplish many great things throughout the year and continue to do so with the support of our community groups, individuals, and businesses. May 2nd, 2019, Governor Holcomb awarded Speedway Trails Association $4.8 million for the next level of trail grants. This grant will connect the B&O Trail to our town east to the Michigan Street path and then on to the White River and Cultural Trail. We also will get to build westward a new bridge over the Eagle Creek. The state's visionary trails system shows a B&O trail from the White River to the Wabash River, and we agree this link connecting the downtown Town of Speedway to downtown Indianapolis and the Culture Trail to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is worth the investment. Speedway Trails would like to thank the Central Indiana Community Foundation for making this grant possible, our partners at Allison Transmission, the Indy Parks Foundation, Town of Speedway, Eskenazi Health, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and for your commitment to the project, as well as the incredible leaders of the Near West Collaboration, Hallville Strong, Westside Community Development Corp., and IUPUI for their tremendous efforts and support. We appreciate the dedication and work of tons of thousands of volunteer hours by the B&O Trail Association as well as our Speedway Trail Association for cleanup through the years. The construction for the trail is scheduled to start in 2021 and will last till about 2023. Communications, we've made a great stride over the last year to increase our public access to information from the town. We hired a communication director to help maintain the steady flow of updates from our town leaders to residents. We have created new vehicles for communications like weekly newsletters and social media pages. Through these efforts, we have seen an increased interest in community projects, more feedback from town residents, and a great encouragement in reaching out to our messages. We'll also have made improvements to our Speedway community television efforts, increasing the number of viewers digitally in additional to through and local cable access channels. We gained the capability to stream events live on YouTube in locations outside the community, like the State of the Town Tonight, as well as sporting events in our high school. On the redevelopment, we've seen great growth and redevelopment in Speedway over the last decade, with new businesses coming to Speedway, new housing opportunities, and rising property values. Economic development has been on the forefront of all of our minds as we reflect upon the past years and plan for the next. We couldn't do this without the dedication of our Speedway Redevelopment Commission members, our Economic Development Director, Tim Gropp. They, along with the town manager and town council and input from residents during open forums, meetings completed the economic development strategic plan for 2019. This plan is posted on the redevelopment's website, so you can review. It is an ongoing, and this plan started on October 24, 2018. In different meetings throughout the year, was finalized, approved July 21st of 2019. Once it was approved, there was a public hearing, and closing documents completed September of 2019. SRC received a $40,000 Okra community planning grant for the focus of the 2020 existing businesses on Crawfordsville Road corridor. We heard from Allison's Transmission, Melissa Sowers this evening for the environmental testing and facilities that is taking place on their campus. The Gilman Street redevelopment project is coming to an end with Sebring Speedway LLC purchasing the last piece of redevelopment property east of Maine. This new development is now under roof and has about 40,000 square feet of multi-light commercial space. It is scheduled to open in 2020 with Bell Motorsports as its first tenant. The 10th and Poco cleanup is also underway. It makes a nice view now going to east on 10th Street there in front of Allison's. During 2019, we saw the testing in environmental cleanup with the former dry cleaners, and more recently, the demolition of the auto tech. This is all leading up to the 1300 block on Main Street being redeveloped by Rebar with a mixed-use building providing new businesses and rental space. Wilshaw redevelopments completed the apartments projects. These apartments are 1 and 2 bedroom families with amenities such as common area, workout facilities for residents, and covered parking for the tenants as part of their rent if desired. As this is a complex project, the Town Council, Redevelopment Director, Town Manager, and Legal Counsel continue to have weekly meetings and to push the developer and their legal counsel to move forward in completing the hotel. In 2019, we were able to lay the groundwork for the Founder Square development at 2500 High School Road project. Negotiations, financing, processing, due diligence, and finalization of the contracts were all wrapped up. Probably one of the more well-known and loved changes in Speedway last year was welcoming Fundays Ice Cream. We saw them on Main Street during the summer in their ice cream bus, and now in their permanent location in the Wilshaw building. They have really proven to be a great partner in our town as they are involved with our schools and parks and community organizations. Last year, State of the Town was held to what we all best know as a PNC building. As the town had just purchased it after many meetings planning in 2019 with architects, engineers, and department heads, many more. I'm pleased to announce that our new government center is finally underway with cleanup, and we'll hear more from David Lindsay in 2020 for our town government center. For the town manager, he was extremely busy as he was involved in most everything that we've already talked about in 2019. We finally were able to announce after 4 years in the making, the FEMA is to revise their flood maps for removing hundreds of homes from the floodplain that required costly insurance. Also, he worked on Home Helpers. That has been an ongoing project with our housing committee. And this year we were able to help 4 homeowners in need with light paint and or yard cleanup. And late in 2019, as it was announced as the sale of the IMS, he's been involved with many meetings as we all greatly appreciate and respect the Holman George family in their involvement and dedication to our community. We do welcome and look forward to working with Mr. Pinsky in 2020. And then lastly, for our clerk treasurer and town hall. In the spring of 2019, the number of liens filed for properties in just the spring was 249 accounts that were actually paid for prior to the lien filing, with a total of about $44,000 being collected. Actual liens filed were 263, which was $68,623, and collected in the spring taxes were 261 liens at $61,216. Very close numbers were the same for the fall. There were 244 accounts that were paid prior to lien filing. There was 237 liens that were actually filed of totaling about $60,851, and then 221 of those liens were actually paid for in the tax. So over the 2019, the clerk treasurer collected well over $100,000 of liens of unpaid water bills, sewer bills that would have gone for us unpaid and collected if they were not doing their jobs. Our general fund balance is setting at about $10 million with expenses at about $9 million, and we have a rainy day fund balance showing a little over $1 million. The staff of our town hall, along with all employees, have done an amazing job with our taxpayers' funds and for our town for 2019. In closing, I again would like to just thank Speedway Methodist Church for hosting our Speedway Town this evening. Thank you to all of the participants this evening for the for involvement of our state of the town, Melissa Sowers with Allison, Doug Bowles with IMS, and all of our stakeholders that give back to our town in many different ways. Thank you to all of our town employees, from chiefs to department heads and to the doers out in the field, for the dedication that you show to our town each and every day. You are a huge part of making our town of what it is today. Thank you to all of our volunteers, from Citizens Academy to boards and commissions, for your countless hours of the work that you show, the love and dedication of our town. Thank you to my fellow counselors that served in 2019. As we have not always seen eye to eye or agreed on everything, we have usually found a way to work things out for the betterment of the town of Speedway. And last but not least, to all of our citizens for making this the best community to work, play, live, and raise a family. Thank you. We'll next just see a video that our Cable Commission has put together for us on events for 2019, and then we'll hear from Councilor President David Lindsay for a brief update of 2020. Thank you for coming out.
I'm the last one you've got to hear from tonight, so we're getting there. Chaplain Castle, where are you sitting? I want to wish you a happy birthday. Let you know that you are an asset to our police and fire department and a blessing to so many more in this town. Didn't want to forget you tonight. Happy birthday. Also, before I begin, I want to thank Brian Pierce and Speedway Community Television for the work that they are doing now to broadcast this live. You also can view it again. Brian and his crew do an outstanding job of only broadcasting our town council meetings, school board meetings, SRC meetings, all his hard work as he's still doing work right now. So, and also a giant thank you to Kelly Buck. She's the behind the scenes that put all this together. She did a wonderful, wonderful job, and I want to, if we can give her a round of applause for the great work she's done. So I'd like to start by saying that I and other counselors are excited for what 2020 will bring for us in the town of Speedway. Speedway is truly moving forward and making great progress, which we believe will continue even stronger into 2020. I would like to discuss a few of the projects we as the council will be working on in 2020. One important project that will occur in 2020 is the census. I encourage everyone to do their part to be counted in the 2020 census. The census is vital to the town, Marion County, and our state because federal funds and grants are awarded based on census numbers. We benefit the most when our census is accurate and counts everyone. Every household will receive an invitation to participate in the 2020 census, either from a postal worker or a census worker. For the first time, most households will receive a letter directing them to complete the census questionnaire online. When you respond to the census, you help your community receive federal funding that is spent on schools, roads, public works, and other vital programs. Be sure to do your part to make sure that you are in the count. Another important project in 2020 will be the new Speedway Government Center. Work has already started on our new Government Center at Crawfordsville Road in Lyndhurst. When completed, the Government Center will house offices for redevelopment, school administration, code enforcement, Speedway Community Television, parks, our police department, town manager, and clerk treasurer. We see the new center as one building location where the town's boards and commissions can meet and do the wonderful work that they all do by volunteering their time for the town. And now there will be more than enough space for many other groups and organizations in town to use the new Government Center for meetings and other community events. All of our town offices will now be in one central location for residents to visit and use. And congratulations to our newly elected clerk treasurer, Jacob Blaisdell. The council and I look forward to Jacob continuing to maintain the strong fiscal status of the town, which has been accomplished by the current staff and former clerk treasurer, Monty Combs. Monty and his staff are to be commended for the many hours of hard work and dedication put in over the last 6 years to help put the town in the strong financial position that we are in today. And soon we will begin the process of hiring a new town manager that continue the great work which Jacob has done over the past 2 years by maintaining the day-to-day operations of the town, managing the new Government Center project, and many other issues which Jacob has had to deal with over his time as town manager. In 2020, the Town Council looks forward to continuing to work with our local businesses and community partners. We thank our business community for choosing Speedway, and we hope to attract more businesses in 2020. And finally, one of the projects that you've heard us talk about for 2020 is the new development at the intersection of High School Road and Crawfordsville Road, which will be called Founders Square. This new development will be a cornerstone of the town and a new gateway to our community. Our Speedway Community Television crew was able to sit down with our Economic Development Director, Tim Gropp, and make a video about the project. And I'm thinking that Tim may be onto something here with the video piece that he did. Perhaps my address in 2021 may be a video presentation for the state of the town. At this time, Tim, with the help of Speedway Community Television, was able to sit down, as I said, with representatives from the project's partners to let us know more about what is coming to Founders Square.
After many years, I'm excited to be standing here announcing Founders Square, the new gateway to Speedway, Indiana. It's hard to believe that it was back in 2010 that the Speedway Redevelopment Commission purchased the Dollar Inn and demoed the building And here we are over a decade later announcing the start of construction.
Speedway's history on this site goes back probably a decade. They started trying to make improvements with the vision for improving the gateway into Speedway, and then 2 years ago our firm and Town of Speedway got together and started really kind of a high-level vision session on what's the highest and best use for this property.
We were excited to get into this opportunity when it presented itself to get back into Speedway. Our owner started in Speedway over 30 years ago, and through this revitalization effort, we were excited to get back into this community.
Founders Square is going to improve the gateway. It's the first impression that people have of Speedway that maybe haven't been here, or even an impression that they may have thought Speedway was 10 years ago, 15 years ago. The town's really taken what was probably some aging properties and now has taken the opportunity to say, A, we're going to improve the way the gateway looks, and then B, listen to the people who live here about some of the services they'd like to see here. And so that's really was our goal, and I'm excited to see that that's coming to fruition.
This development is really important to the town. Being at the gateway of the community right off the interstate, being a town that's only about 5 square miles, to have 20 plus acres of land to develop is a real unique opportunity for us. So we want to make sure that we get this right and that we take the time to make the best development that'll leave a lasting impression not only to the visitors to the track, but to the visitors and guests that come through here every day, that live in the suburbs, that come to our industries, that come visit Main Street and all our businesses. So we want to make sure that we take our time, we get it right, and we feel we've done that along with input from the community. And we're just really excited to finally be able to unveil some of what's going to be at Founders Square.
The location in Speedway, right off the corridor of 465, Crawfordsville Road, 74. It's got easy access from a lot of different points. It's close to the track. It's just a great place. The revitalization we've seen with this hotel, among many other partners who have grown in this area, makes it an ideal location to continue to grow.
I think the important step that we took along the way was listening to the public and hearing what their needs are and what their desires for new businesses are in Speedway. And I think they'll be pleased to see that some of the new developments that are coming out here are exactly what some of the gaps in the community are.
We're excited to announce that we've been able to achieve a lot of what they've asked for. Crew Car Wash will be coming to Founders Square, the Hampton Inn, along with the Conference Center. That was something that unanimously people were hoping to see as a part of a potential hotels, conference center, and meeting space. We're in discussions and really close on negotiations with the National Grocery that I think people are excited to have another option there. And retailers, we've got several retailers who want to be here and potential new restaurants that hopefully we'll announce in the coming weeks. And then we've had interest for senior housing, medical office, and healthcare. And really, it's just an awesome spot. So once you see the project kick off and dirt moving and delivery dates become firm, I think you'll see more announcements here in the next 6 months.
MHG is excited to be coming into Founders Square. This is our 17th hotel for MHG, 12 in the Indianapolis area. And this 17th hotel in Founders Square is something that we are very excited about. We look forward to breaking ground later this summer and opening in 2021, continuing our partnership with Speedway and the great success our current Courtyard by Marriott has had. We are excited to announce this Hampton Inn & Suites with 9,000 square feet of meeting space is opening in 2021.
There's a lot of things great about Speedway. I think everybody in the world honestly knows Speedway, famous for the track. But what people here in Indianapolis have learned is it's really a growing, vibrant community. What's happened here in the last decade and then even continue that momentum over the last few years, people are paying attention and wanting to invest, like our firm and Hagman Group, our partner. And so this gateway right off Crawfordsville Road, 465, highly visible. Not just on race days, but really all year round now. And so we just wanted to have a really thoughtful master plan. It's a highly commercial viable site, so we knew it was going to be commercial development, but we wanted to make sure that we hit the mark on what people here were hoping to see.
The great thing is we found that there's a real desire to be in Speedway, and we've had a lot of interest in the site, and it's a matter of putting together the right project for Speedway, and this development, I have no doubt, we'll be able to put together a really solid project, and we're excited to get it started.
So I can tell you there will be more announcements about Founders Square in 2020. That concludes our program, and thank you for attending.